Hi, my name is Jim Little. I'm born and raised in Calgary, but currently living here on Mitch Rawlick's farm. He works for Verge, and this is Moose's Groovy Grove. And I've been out here for about 9 months now. Well, my life before permaculture involved being a software developer for about 9 years, working in a cubicle. During that time, I had discovered a passion and a talent for pencil drawing, so in 2017 I left that job and was drawing full-time, which gave me time to listen to a lot of stuff on the internet and consume all the problems of the world, and permaculture came up as one of the solutions that I heard about. So upon hearing about that, I Googled Calgary permaculture, and luckily I found Verge, saw that as a bit of a sign that I need to pursue that, and started the PDC in 2019, and 3 years later here I am living not too far from the founders of Verge themselves. Well, I admit I actually started this somewhat selfishly. It started with a bug just saying to myself, I need to learn how to garden. But what I really liked about the PDC is the systems thinking approach to it. So when I realized gardening is more than just planting seeds in a garden, it's figuring out how to manage all the systems that support a garden and then things beyond a garden itself. So I just love the systems thinking approach. And the way things weren't set up in silos like they are in university. So I had taken a geography degree where you do learn about land and the earth and the planet and how things work, but every subject was somewhat siloed. So it was such a breath of fresh air just to see everything get integrated and work together like that. Personally, it was just sort of trying to get a little bit more self-sufficient and a little more connected to where my food is coming from. And yeah, I just realized I was so dependent on a lot of these fragile systems that were cracking at the seams, and this is before 2020, so when everything hit over the last couple of years, that really sort of reinforced that not just myself, but we all need to start looking after ourselves and therefore being better able to look after each other. I think I would say they've increased based on the fact that I've become a country boy, well, so to speak, after a lifetime as a city boy, and getting to see things firsthand has really helped too. So being here on Mitch's farm, we're all rookie gardeners, we're all rookies on an acreage, and it's been quite rewarding and challenging just to see all the challenges and opportunities, and how far we have to go, and just learning how little we know every day. It's pretty inspiring and humbling. I've often thought that just about every human should take a PDC, if nothing else, just to know or just to learn these things that we aren't taught in school. In particular though, someone like me who is looking to gain more sort of resilience in their life and self-sufficiency, anyone who's curious, I think, just about how the world works, you learn so much about just all the interactions between the flora and the fauna. I think the same thing about taking a PDC as I do Vipassana meditation, where it's a simple practice if you think about it at a high level, but it's not an easy practice, and I think every human would benefit from it. You're given a lot of hope, I believe, and you're shown that this way of thinking is a way of approaching not just growing things in a garden, but sort of addressing your whole life. So you actually feel empowered and confident and inspired, and you're connected with other people who are seeking the same sort of path or answers in life, and you just gain a connection and you find your tribe, so to speak. I mean, I'm picking up skills, sure, but community is probably the biggest net gain I've had. Just living out here is awesome environment, awesome people. There's a growing community out here, so I think we're all trying to build these little pockets of the future, and this is one I'm quite happy to be in. I guess if people are worried about the time commitment, it's absolutely worth your time. And when you're taking a PDC, it's few times a week, so it is a commitment that way, but you're going to be inspired and you're going to be thinking about it all the time. So maybe that's a bad thing for some people, but for those who are willing to commit to it, it's probably going to change your life. It did mine, so if not, it'll at least change the way you think about the world. Just go for it. I mean, get started. For us, we're just bumbling our way through here out in the garden, but it's so much fun, and we're trying to be forgiving with ourselves. And I think if you're forgiving with yourself and open to a new experience, you're just gonna love taking a PDC. Yeah, so before the PDC, I was kind of looking around. I was sitting in an apartment in the city, dependent on all these, packaged foods that maybe aren't even food, and just wondering how I'm gonna take the first steps to look after myself. And for me, it started with, how do I grow food? And then when I discovered permaculture, I realized it's so much more than just growing food. It's I realized I would need community to do that, whether I knew how to throw seeds in the ground or not. And taking the PDC, and I've taken it a couple times now, I'll recognize people in the chat and I'll recognize names and faces on the Verge channel. So I've really found that community, and I just feel a lot more confident about the future, as crazy as it is. I feel like I've gained some tools in the toolkit to address it, and it's kind of made life less scary and a little more exciting.